The air in ancient Calabar was thick with the scent of crushed hibiscus and damp earth, a world where the sky sat so close to the rainforest canopy that the moon, a woman named Nebechi, could reach down and touch the braided hair of the village maidens. Nebechi was not a cold orb of rock. She was a queen of silver luminescence, her skin glowing like polished pewter under the humid Nigerian night. Her heart belonged to Obasi, the king of the earth, a man whose muscles were carved from the very mahogany trees he protected, and whose voice carried the deep, resonant thrum of a talking drum. Their love was the rhythm of the tides, a gravitational pull that kept the rivers flowing and the yam crops swelling in the soil. Every night, Nebechi would descend upon a ladder made of woven harmattan winds to meet Obasi in the sacred groves where the fireflies gathered to witness a union that balanced the very essence of existence. However, beneath the silver glow of their affection lay a simmering, scandalous secret that would soon tear the heavens asunder. Nebechi, despite her celestial beauty, possessed a restless spirit that the steady, grounded nature of Obasi could not entirely satisfy. She craved the searing, dangerous heat of the forbidden. While the earth slept in the quiet hours before dawn, Nebechi began a clandestine affair with Obasi's own brother, the sun, a fierce and temperamental deity known as Helios, who ruled the daylight with an iron, golden fist. The sun offered her a scorching passion that the cool soil of the earth could never provide, and their trysts took place in the twilight hours, the brief moments when day and night blurred into a bruised purple haze over the bight of Biafra. This was a betrayal of cosmic proportions, a family scandal whispered by the baobab trees and carried by the whistling winds of the north. Nebechi thought her infidelity was hidden by the morning mist, but the earth sees everything that walks upon it or hovers above it. Obasi began to notice the scent of scorched ozone on her bride's skin, and the way her silver light seemed tainted with a flickering solar gold. The jealousy of a king is a terrifying thing, but the jealousy of the earth itself is cataclysmic. He sought the counsel of the great oracles of Ife, who confirmed his darkest fears. His wife was sharing her light with his brother, draining the vitality of the world to fuel her illicit fire. The confrontation happened on the banks of the Cross River, where the water reflects the truth of the stars. As Nebechi attempted to ascend back to her salunar throne after a particularly heated encounter with the sun, Obasi rose from the ground, his body expanding until he was a mountain of jagged rock and vengeful intent. He didn't just scream, he roared with the sound of 1,000 thunderstorms, a sound that cracked the very firmament. He reached out to grab her, but his touch, once tender, was now a curse of heavy gravity. He decreed that since she loved the heat of the sun so much, she would be forever exposed to it, but never allowed to feel the warmth of the earth again. He cast a spell using the sacred red clay of the Benin kingdom, binding her to an invisible tether that kept her exactly 300,000 kilometers away, close enough to see the paradise she lost, but far enough that the air would thin and freeze between them. This was the beginning of the eternal exile, a sentence of loneliness passed by a husband who turned his heart into a fortress of stone to survive the pain of her ultimate, scandalous treachery. The silence after the great banishment was not empty. It was a heavy, vibrating grief that settled over the rainforests from Lagos to the distant peaks of the Adamawa Mountains. Nebechi, now trapped in the cold vacuum of the upper firmament, looked down at the Nigerian soil with eyes that wept liquid silver, creating the first deposits of tin and precious ore deep within the Jos Plateau. She was a queen without a throne, a wife without a husband, and a lover whose skin was beginning to show the horrific scars of her dual betrayal. The plot twist that the stars whispered to the night hunters of the savannah was far more scandalous than a simple affair between siblings. Nebechi was not just drifting in the void, she was carrying a secret that would eventually crack the very foundation of the cosmos. During those twilight trysts with Helios, the sun, a child had been conceived, a forbidden entity of both blinding fire and cool lunar light. This celestial pregnancy was the true reason the Earth had reacted with such tectonic fury. Obasi, the Earth King, knew that if this solar moon child were ever born on his soil, its heat would evaporate the oceans, and its gravity would crush the ribs of every living thing. The curse was not just a punishment for infidelity. It was a desperate act of biological warfare to save the world from his own nephew. Obasi used the ancient incantations of the long juju of Arochukwu to ensure that Nebechi's womb would remain in a state of perpetual agonizing stasis as long as she stayed in the sky. To keep her there, he made a deal with the shadows of the underworld. They would rise every month to bite at her heels, creating the waning moon, a visual reminder to the villagers below of her diminishing power and her growing shame. But the scandal deepened when the sun, realizing he had been used as a mere tool for Nebechi's pleasure, turned his back on her as well. He began to scorch her face with solar flares, punishing her for the moments she still spent looking down at the earth with longing. Nebechi was caught in a celestial pincer movement, hated by the husband she betrayed and tortured by the lover who felt discarded. She became a wanderer of the dark, her only companions being the stars, which were actually the shattered fragments of her original crown, scattered across the velvet blackness during her violent ascent. The final juicy revelation lies in the phenomenon of the blood moon that occasionally paints the Nigerian sky a deep, bruised crimson. It is not an alignment of shadows, as the modern scholars claim, but a momentary lapse in the curse, where Nebechi's silver skin turns red with the effort of trying to finally birth the sun's child. In those rare, terrifying hours, the earth vibrates with a low-frequency hum of pure terror, fearing the descent of a godchild that would end all life. Obasi, hardened and cynical, pulls his gravity even tighter during these eclipses, a jealous ex-husband refusing to let his former wife find any relief from her labor. He ensures she remains a beautiful, distant tragedy, a reminder to every lover in the valleys below that some betrayals are too heavy for the ground to hold. The moon never visits the earth because she is a fugitive of a war she started, carrying a ticking clock of fire in her belly, while the earth stands guard as her eternal jailer. They are locked in a dance of proximity and distance, a scandalous history written in light and shadow, proving that even the gods cannot escape the consequences of a heart divided by fire and soil.
A love cursed, a child of fire, and a king who turned to stone. Not all myths have happy endings, but every myth has a lesson for the soul. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep the legends alive. This is Mind and Heart Journey, where every story is a bridge between what we think and what we feel. See you in the next one.